Alright team, welcome back to another adventure. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of America's most rugged and mysterious landscapes. We are tackling the Superstition Mountains of Arizona. This isn't just a walk in the park, it's a test of survival, a challenge of endurance, and a journey into a land filled with legends. It's a place that demands respect. You have to be prepared for anything out here. The desert doesn't forgive mistakes. So stick with me, and I'll show you how to not only survive, but thrive in this incredible environment. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell because you won't want to miss where we're going next. This is going to be epic. The pull of the wilderness is a powerful thing. It's a feeling deep in your gut, a need to push your limits and connect with the raw power of nature. For me, the Superstition Mountains have always held a special kind of allure. They rise from the desert floor like jagged teeth, a fortress of rock and cactus that has challenged adventurers for centuries. This isn't just about the physical hike. It's about the mental game. It's about facing the unknown with courage and resourcefulness. We're going to explore its hidden canyons, climb its demanding ridges, and sleep under a blanket of a million stars. This is where you find out what you're truly made of. Our mission is simple: to complete a challenging 2-day backpacking loop that I've mapped out myself. We will push deep into the heart of the wilderness, far from any roads or easy escape routes. This means we have to carry everything we need to survive on our backs. Food, water, shelter, it all adds to the weight, and every ounce counts when you're climbing steep, rocky trails under the hot Arizona sun. This journey is a true test of planning and preparation. One small oversight, one forgotten piece of gear, could turn a thrilling adventure into a dangerous situation. But with the right mindset and skills, we can conquer it. So, get ready. We're about to leave civilization behind and step into a world governed by the sun, the wind, and the earth. We'll face challenges, we'll experience moments of incredible beauty, and we'll come out the other side stronger, and with a story to tell. This is what adventure is all about, embracing the tough moments to earn the unforgettable rewards. It's about feeling alive in the most fundamental way possible. Let's get into it. The Superstition Mountains are calling, and we must go. Let the adventure begin. Our journey begins on the road, a strip of asphalt cutting through the Sonoran Desert. We're driving north from Tucson, watching the landscape change subtly with every mile. The saguaro cacti stand like silent sentinels, their arms raised to the vast blue sky. This drive is more than just a commute, it's a transition. It's the moment where you leave the routines of daily life behind and start shifting your focus to the challenge ahead. My mind is already on the trail, thinking about the terrain, the water sources, and the weather. Preparation for an expedition like this starts long before you take your first step on the dirt. It starts with this drive, this mental shift into survival mode. Phoenix holds a special place in my history. I spent some of my formative years here, and returning always feels like coming home in a strange way. The smell of the dry air, the intense heat radiating from the pavement, the familiar sight of Camelback Mountain on the horizon, it all brings back memories. But this trip isn't about revisiting the city. It's about exploring the wild backyard I never fully appreciated as a kid. The Superstition Mountains were always there, a distant, imposing silhouette against the sunrise. Now I'm returning not as a boy looking from a distance, but as an adventurer ready to meet them face to face. The anticipation builds as we get closer. The urban sprawl of Phoenix gives way to the open desert, and the mountains grow larger and more detailed. You start to see the individual canyons and the rugged peaks that we will soon be climbing. This is the moment the adventure feels real. The excitement is mixed with a healthy dose of respect and a little bit of fear. That fear is a good thing. It keeps you sharp, it makes you double-check your gear, and it reminds you that you are a guest in a powerful and untamed environment. Nature is the boss out here, and you have to play by its rules. As we turn off the main highway and head towards the Peralta trailhead, the last vestiges of the modern world disappear. The paved road turns to gravel, and the silence is broken only by the crunch of tires. This is the gateway to the wilderness. From here on out, we are on our own. The car journey is over, and the real work is about to begin. We're trading air conditioning for the raw heat of the sun, and comfortable seats for a heavy pack on our shoulders. It's a trade I'll gladly make every single time. This is where life truly begins. You don't just wander into the Superstition Mountains without a plan. That's a recipe for disaster. For this trip, I decided against following a single well-trodden path. Instead, I created a custom route, a loop that would give us the full Superstition experience. I linked together several different trails, the popular Peralta Trail, the rugged Dutchman's Trail, and a few lesser-known connector trails. This allows us to see a variety of landscapes, from the dramatic canyons of the Front Range to the more remote and wild interior. Crafting your own route adds another layer of adventure and requires careful map reading and navigation skills. You are truly blazing your own trail. The planning phase is critical. I spent hours studying topographic maps, identifying potential water sources, and marking key junctions. You need to know the elevation changes, the distance between points, and potential campsites. In the desert, water is everything. I marked a few seasonal springs on my map, but you can never be 100% certain they'll be flowing. This uncertainty is part of the challenge. You have to have backup plans. My route is designed to be tough but achievable, pushing us to our limits while staying within the bounds of safety. It's a balance between ambition and common sense. Choosing the right gear is just as important as choosing the right route. For a desert environment, you need to think differently. My pack is filled with lightweight, durable equipment, a sturdy tent that can handle high winds, a warm sleeping bag for the surprisingly cold desert nights, and a reliable stove for cooking. But the most important gear is related to water. I have multiple water bottles and a large water bladder, giving me the capacity to carry several liters at once. I also have a trusty water filter and purification tablets as a backup. In the Superstitions, you carry your water, and it is heavy, but it is your lifeline. The final part of the plan is the food. For a multi-day trek, you need high-energy, lightweight meals. I've packed dehydrated backpacking meals for dinner, which are easy to prepare and replenish the calories burned during a long day of hiking. For lunch and snacks, I rely on energy bars, nuts, and dried fruit. These foods provide a slow release of energy that keeps you going on the trail. Every meal is calculated to provide maximum fuel for minimum weight. Proper nutrition is key to maintaining your strength and morale when you're deep in the wilderness. With the plan set, the gear packed, and the route mapped, it was time to execute. The moment you step onto the trail, the desert makes its presence known. The sun is relentless. There is very little shade out here, just the occasional mesquite tree or the shadow of a large boulder. The heat isn't just in the air, it radiates up from the rocky ground, cooking you from all sides. You have to protect yourself. I wear a wide-brimmed hat, sunglasses, and lightweight long-sleeved clothing to shield my skin from the powerful UV rays. The dry air is another challenge. It sucks the moisture right out of you, so you're constantly losing water through sweat and even just breathing. Hydration is not just a suggestion here, it is a constant active process. With every step upward, the weight of the backpack feels heavier. My pack is loaded with over 10 liters of water, in addition to my camping gear and food. It probably weighs close to 40 pounds. On flat ground, that's manageable, but on the steep, uneven trails of the Superstitions, it feels like you're carrying a small person on your back. Every muscle in your legs and back screams in protest. This is a battle of will. You have to break the journey down into small, manageable chunks. Hike for 20 minutes, take a short break in the shade, drink some water, and then push on. It's a slow, grueling rhythm. The terrain itself is a formidable obstacle. The trail is not a smooth path, it's a rugged jumble of loose rocks, sharp stones, and gravel. Every footstep requires concentration. One misplaced step could lead to a twisted ankle, a serious problem when you're miles from help. We are constantly climbing, our boots scrambling for purchase on the steep inclines. The air gets thinner as we gain elevation and our lungs burn with the effort. This is where your physical conditioning is tested. All the training pays off on a trail like this. It's a full-body workout that pushes you to your absolute limit. The lack of water sources is the biggest psychological challenge. Knowing that the water in your pack is all you have until you reach a questionable spring creates a certain level of anxiety. You ration your sips, making sure you have enough to last the entire day. This is the essence of desert survival, managing your most precious resource with extreme care. Every drop is valuable. The combination of intense sun, dry air, a heavy pack, and limited water makes backpacking in the Superstitions a true gauntlet. It's a test designed by nature to see if you have what it takes. Despite the hardships, the beauty of this place is absolutely breathtaking. The Superstition Mountains are a land of incredible contrasts. The harsh, jagged rock formations are set against a brilliant deep blue sky. The muted greens and browns of the desert floor are suddenly interrupted by the vibrant colors of a blooming cactus flower. You'll see the delicate, paper-thin petals of a prickly pear blossom right next to its menacing spines. This contrast between harshness and beauty is what makes the desert so special. It reminds you that life is resilient and can flourish in the most unlikely of places. It's a powerful and humbling sight. As we climb higher, the views become more and more spectacular. We can see for miles in every direction, looking out over a vast wilderness of canyons, mesas, and peaks. The scale of it is hard to comprehend. You feel incredibly small, a tiny speck in a massive ancient landscape. This perspective is good for the soul. It strips away the ego and connects you to something much larger than yourself. The silence is profound, broken only by the wind whistling through the canyons or the call of a distant hawk. It's a kind of peace you can't find anywhere else. In one section of our hike, we passed through an area that was scarred by a wildfire years ago. The blackened skeletons of old trees and shrubs stand as ghostly reminders of the fire's destructive power. It looks like a dead, desolate landscape at first glance. But if you look closer, you see signs of rebirth everywhere. New green shoots are pushing up from the scorched earth. Hardy desert grasses and wildflowers are colonizing the open spaces. This is nature's cycle of destruction and renewal in action. The fire cleared out the old, overgrown brush, making way for new life to thrive. It's a powerful lesson in resilience. The geology of the mountains is another source of wonder. The layers of volcanic rock tell a story that is millions of years old. You can see how massive eruptions and slow erosion have carved this landscape into its current form. The towering rock spires, like Weaver's Needle, are iconic landmarks that have guided travelers for centuries. Hiking here is like walking through a natural history museum. Every rock, every canyon, has a story to tell. It's this combination of raw beauty, stark contrasts, and deep history that makes every painful step of the hike worthwhile. You can't talk about the Superstition Mountains without mentioning the legend of the Lost Dutchman's gold mine. It's a story that has been woven into the fabric of this place for over a century. The legend says that a German immigrant named Jacob Waltz, the Dutchman, discovered a mind-bogglingly rich gold mine somewhere deep within these mountains in the 1800s. He supposedly kept its location a secret, taking just enough gold to live on. On his deathbed, he described the mine's location to a neighbor, but the clues were vague and cryptic, sparking a treasure hunt that continues to this day. This legend adds a thrilling layer of mystery to our expedition. As you hike through the remote canyons and gaze up at the imposing cliffs, you can't help but wonder, could the mine be hidden just over the next ridge? Is that oddly shaped rock formation one of the clues Waltz left behind? The story fires up the imagination. It makes you look at the landscape differently, searching for anything out of the ordinary. Many people have searched for the mine, and some have even lost their lives in the pursuit, adding to the mountain's dangerous and mysterious reputation. Of course, we're not here to hunt for gold. Our treasure is the experience itself, the views, the challenge, and the solitude. But the legend is a fun piece of local folklore to think about as you hike. It makes the mountains feel more alive, more full of secrets. You feel like you're walking through a storybook, a place where adventure and mystery could be waiting around any corner. It connects you to the history of the prospectors and adventurers who came before, all drawn to these mountains for their own reasons. The ghost of the Dutchman is a constant companion on the trail. The story also serves as a cautionary tale. The lure of gold drove many people to take foolish risks, underestimating the dangers of the desert. They went in unprepared, without enough water or knowledge of the terrain, and paid the ultimate price. The legend of the Lost Dutchman is a powerful reminder that the mountain's greatest treasure is not gold, but life itself. It reinforces the importance of respecting the wilderness, being prepared, and knowing your limits. The real gold is coming back alive with a great story to tell. No real adventure is complete without a few mishaps. The trail is an excellent teacher, and its lessons are often painful. My first lesson came from a close encounter with a cholla cactus, sometimes called the jumping cactus. I brushed just a little too close to one on a narrow section of the trail, and in an instant a segment of it was embedded in my calf. The spines are barbed and incredibly painful to remove. Using a comb from my first aid kit, I had to carefully pry the spiny ball away from my skin. It's a sharp, stinging reminder to always be aware of your surroundings in the desert. Every plant has its own defense mechanism. Later in the day, we faced a different kind of challenge: confusion. We reached a junction where the trail seemed to vanish. There were several faint paths leading in different directions, and the map wasn't entirely clear. This is a moment where panic can set in. But you have to stay calm, trust your training, and work the problem. We stopped, drank some water, and pulled out the map and compass. By taking a bearing from a prominent landmark, the easily identifiable Weaver's Needle, we were able to reorient ourselves and figure out the correct path. Getting lost for a few minutes is a good test of your navigation skills and your ability to stay composed under pressure. As the afternoon wore on, exhaustion began to set in. The combination of the heat, the elevation gain, and the heavy pack was taking its toll. My legs felt like lead, and my shoulders ached. There was a moment on a particularly long, steep climb where I just wanted to stop. This is the mental battle of endurance hiking. Your body is telling you to quit, but your mind has to be stronger. You have to dig deep and find that inner reserve of strength. I focused on my breathing, set a small goal, just reach that next big rock, and pushed through the pain. Overcoming these obstacles is what builds character. The cactus attack taught me to be more vigilant. The moment of confusion reinforced my navigation skills, and pushing through the wall of exhaustion proved my own mental fortitude. These are not just challenges, they are opportunities for growth. Each time you face a difficulty on the trail and overcome it, you become a more confident and capable adventurer. The feeling of achievement after solving a problem or pushing through a tough moment is immense. It's the reason we seek out these challenges in the first place. After a long and grueling day of hiking, we finally reached our destination, a flat saddle high up on a ridge with a commanding view. The feeling of dropping that heavy pack from my shoulders was pure relief. We had made it. All the sweat, the aching muscles, and the mental battles were worth it for this moment. This wasn't a designated campground. It was a spot I had picked out on the map, a wild and remote place to call home for the night. The sense of accomplishment was huge. We had earned this view, every single foot of it. The first order of business was setting up camp. Teamwork makes this quick and efficient. I got the tent pitched while my partner started organizing our cooking gear. In the wilderness, every task has a purpose, from laying out your sleeping bag to securing your food from critters. With our shelter established, it was time to prepare our evening meal. We fired up the small backpacking stove and soon had hot water boiling for our dehydrated meals. There is something incredibly satisfying about a simple hot meal after a hard day's work. It tastes better than anything you could get in a five-star restaurant. As we ate, we were treated to one of the most incredible shows on Earth, a desert sunset. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery shades of orange, pink, and purple. The light caught the jagged peaks of the surrounding mountains, making them glow with an otherworldly light. The whole world seemed to slow down. We sat in silence, just soaking it all in. These are the moments that make all the hardship worthwhile. This is the ultimate reward. It's a memory that gets seared into your brain forever, a perfect moment of peace and beauty. The night in the wilderness was an adventure in itself. As darkness fell, the wind picked up, howling across the ridge and battering our tent. It was a noisy and restless night, and sleep didn't come easy. The constant flapping of the tent fabric and the roar of the wind were a reminder of nature's raw power. But even in the middle of a windy night, there's a sense of excitement. You feel exposed and vulnerable, yet also protected inside your small, sturdy shelter. I woke up several times, but instead of being annoyed, I felt a sense of awe at the forces at play just outside my tent walls. Waking up in the mountains is a magical experience. I unzipped the tent just before dawn and was greeted by a cool, crisp air and a sky beginning to glow on the eastern horizon. The windy night had given way to a perfectly calm morning. Watching the sunrise from our high perch was just as spectacular as the sunset. The first rays of light touched the highest peaks, slowly spilling down into the canyons below and illuminating the landscape in a soft, golden light. This is the best time to be in the desert. The air is cool, the light is beautiful, and you feel like you have the whole world to yourself. We quickly broke down camp, packed our bags, and ate a quick breakfast of oatmeal and coffee. Our plan was to descend via the Peralta Canyon Trail, one of the most popular and scenic trails in the Superstitions. Starting early is key. It allows you to do most of your hiking before the sun gets too intense. The hike down was much easier on the lungs but tougher on the knees. The morning light created long, dramatic shadows, making the already stunning scenery even more beautiful. We were moving with a sense of purpose, filled with energy from a good night's rest and the incredible views. The journey back to the trailhead felt different. We were no longer struggling against the mountain, we were flowing with it. Each step brought us closer to civilization, and with it came a mix of feelings. There was a sense of pride in what we had accomplished, and a little bit of sadness that the adventure was coming to an end. We passed other hikers just starting their day, their faces full of the same anticipation we had felt the day before. We gave them a nod and a smile, a silent acknowledgement of the shared experience of challenging this incredible wilderness. Finally, we saw the parking lot. We had completed the loop. We were tired, sore, dirty, and incredibly happy. But the adventure wasn't quite over. To celebrate our successful expedition, we drove to a legendary local BBQ spot in Phoenix. There is no better way to reward yourself after a tough hike than with a massive plate of smoked brisket and ribs. It was a feast fit for a king, a perfect end to an epic journey. This trip was a reminder of the power of nature, the importance of preparation, and the incredible rewards that come from pushing your limits. So get out there, explore, and create your own adventures. And don't forget to subscribe for more. See you on the next one.